We just had the reveal of the PlayStation 5, showcased in all its glory, but it got me thinking, what's going to happen to Dreams regarding the PS5? I want to discuss why I think it's absolutely essential that a PS5 version happens sooner rather than later, and what issues I think will plague the game if it's not handled right. Hey, welcome to Little Big Animation. We are all about creating inspiring video games and animations to unleash your imagination so you can realize your own creative dreams and share those with the world. The PS5 was finally unveiled, presenting not only the wireless router and anime character that it secretly is, but also a wide range of impressive looking games. One of which was a new Little Big Planet game, or more specifically, a Sackboy game. On further inspection, I don't believe this will include a crate mode, but on first reaction I honestly felt like Dreams was numbered. Think about it, a creation tool which is more accessible, has a strong mascot, a loyal following, and utilises the full power of the PS5. If that was to go up against Dreams in its current state, it would lose, and lose badly. That's where I think Sony were smart, to bring Sackboy back for the fans, but keep it at bay to prevent hurting Dreams. I couldn't imagine Media Molecule being very happy about competing with their own franchise, so it's just as well that this new game won't do that. At least not for now, anyway. All of this got me thinking that Dreams really needs to catch up with the latest technology fast. So why the big rush to get a dedicated version of Dreams on the PS5? Well, quite frankly, I think we can all agree that with a creative tool like Dreams, we all crave for the very best, reducing our limits even further. As a creator, learning to become better and optimize my work is very important, but at some point, technology needs to evolve alongside that. Everything from superior graphics, advanced lighting, more room to breathe when designing scenes, amongst many other aspects. I was surprised how limited the thermal was in Dreams, considering that the PS4 is already a very powerful machine. I'm obviously no tech expert though, so what do I know? All I do know is that the PS5 is vastly superior to its predecessor, and I wouldn't mind admitting that I'm a little greedy to get a head start with creating on this beast. There's always a question though. How long should Dreams be supported on PS4 before the full focus shifts directly to the future with the PS5? Compatibility issues are my main concern. Let's take a look at the infamous Little Big Planet 3. Forget all the bugs and glitches that came with it and focus on the cross-compatibility with the PS3. It's fair to say that it served no real purpose and it clearly held the PS4 version back, as well as creating additional problems when playing certain levels on the inferior PS3, most notably regarding the frame rate. If we take this example, can it be safe to assume Dreams shares the same fate? Let's look at something which is true and I can definitely confirm right now. I create on an original base PS4, and I know some creators who create on a Pro. You'd think Dreams would be fairly optimized for both versions, but it's not. Having Eternal Darkness' latest Final Fantasy VII Battle Dream, I was having a lot of frame rate issues causing massive slowdown, something which he never even realised was an issue since his Pro version ran smoothly. Upon using the test data stats for frames and thermal, his Pro was miles ahead of my regular PS4. This doesn't mean that certain Dreams break for me, more that it presents a lot of issues, as well as limits my own creative output, as my thermal and performance will choke well before any pros. So what happens once Dreams is playable on PS5? First of all, we'll have the backwards compatible version, which I'm sure will have to be capped, since the PS5 would obliterate any PS4 creation in terms of thermal and performance. A lot of people will be perfectly happy creating using the technical limitations, and I don't want it to sound as if I'm expecting a dedicated launch version of Dreams. Realistically, I can't see that happening for a few more years, since there are many features still to arrive on PS4 that anticipating a PS5 version just seems way off. I just think it's worth contemplating what will happen with Dreams in the near future. How long will it continue to support the PS4? How long until the PS5 branches off into its own thing? Surely the PS5 version would have no choice but to separate, or Dreams will forever be an inferior game and creation suite. Talking about the PS4 features which are yet to make an appearance, VR has still to make a public appearance. The long sought after online multiplayer is yet to be seen or even talked about. Each update has improved Dreams, but looking a little closer, most of the updates are quite small scale, as if early access is still in effect. This leads me to believe that cannot handle another big launch on a completely new console, even if they wanted to. There are still accessibility issues to solve, making easier to sculpt being one, or even making more templates, such as characters which come equipped with facial animation and mouth movements, something even LBP does out the box. Perhaps the size of the studio, as well as the vast scale of Dreams itself, is a hard balance to get right. But we kind of expect slow output from especially when you think about how many delays the game received before it was released. One final thing I want to discuss is something that a lot of people are asking for, whether or not it should happen. And that would be, should Dreams be free for all PS5 users? There's a lot of pros and cons to this scenario, and to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced myself that this would be a good idea. Even if we forget the financial implications for and Sony, especially since as of now there's no DLC or post-release model, we still have to consider the fact that a huge wave of players would join the Dreamiverse. Would be ready to handle that volume? Is Dreams even ready for that? There's also the worry that being free results in an unhealthy amount of spam and throwaway content. As of now, it's relatively easy to find a wealth of amazing creations amongst all the bare bones work in progress stuff, meme collections and anything else that was just made for a quick joke. I'm not even sure most players would even care about Dreams, even if they had the option to play or create for free. To me, this seems like a backup model they can use if the community starts to decrease over the years. have stated that they want Dreams to continue for 10 or more years, so you would expect them to have a solid plan in place to make that happen and not just rely on wishful thinking. If the 10+ year plan can continue as planned, then surely they will have a few tricks up their sleeve before free to play even becomes a topic of real discussion. That's more or less everything I wanted to cover about the future of Dreams and its potential on PS5. Did I miss anything that you'd like to add? Let us know what you thought down in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new here. We are all about creating inspiring video games and animations to unleash your imagination, so you can realise your own creative dreams and share those with the world. If you'd like to support us on our quest to provide you with the very best inspiring content, explore our Patreon page to discover additional channel benefits from as low as $1 per month by visiting patreon.com/littlebiganimation or by following the link in the description below. Thank you. Would you like to see even more inspiring content? Click on one of our videos on your screen now. You can also subscribe by clicking on our little red imp. See you in the next Dreams video.